Prince Harry flees Meghan Markle and his 2 children after a matter of days to return to Ukraine, shamed the British royal family with a hyper-political speech designed to overshadow Prince Louis's 8th birthday celebrations. It is shameful. And by the way, his speech, which he's so proud of, may well have been written using AI.
Breaking news just dropped. Prince Harry dips out, leaving Meghan Markle and the 2 kids after only a few days and heads straight back to Ukraine. And this time, he's stirring the pot with a super political speech that many say totally steals the spotlight from Prince Louis's 8th birthday celebration. That's a wild move, no question. Some critics are even side-eyeing the speech itself, hinting it might have been put together with AI, something Harry seems oddly proud of. Now people are talking loudly. Taz weighed in, basically asking if Harry ever gets tired of the attention chase, especially while claiming he wants privacy. It's starting to look messy, like this whole royal outsider angle isn't landing the way he planned. And royal grift isn't holding back either, accusing Harry of popping up in Ukraine at just the right moment to pull focus from Louis's big day, right as he speaks at the Kyiv Security Forum. But here's the twist, there's talk that Buckingham Palace and even the king might not be as out of the loop as it seems. Some are saying this could be a quiet strategy to ease Harry back into the fold after things went sideways in the US. That theory has people raising eyebrows. And then there's the emotional side of this drama. A beautiful birthday photo of Prince Louis dropped, taken during a family getaway in Cornwall, and it's pure joy beach vibes, real smiles, just a kid being a kid. Even better, Kensington Palace shared a video showing Louis running along the shore, splashing in the water, playing cricket. It's wholesome and real. That's what people should be focused on right now. But critics say Harry knows exactly what he's doing, timing his speech to shift attention away from that moment. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Some are noticing that Harry's media moves lately feel more calculated than ever, almost like he's working hand in hand with major outlets in a way he never did before. The Sun was already at the train station, reporting on what Harry planned to say before he even said a word, and then he shows up and delivers it like clockwork.
To address leaders, world leaders at this Kyiv Security Forum, and he's going to say some pretty harsh words about Vladimir Putin, calling out his war crimes. And his visit, he says, is really an attempt to stop the world, remind the world not to go numb to the horrors and the significance of what's happening in Ukraine. He said that Ukraine is defending Europe and it's really important not to lose sight of that.
That's where people start raising eyebrows because it feels way too staged. And honestly, many are asking the same blunt question. What is Harry actually doing here? And why would someone like Putin pay attention to anything he says? To some critics, it comes off more like a performance than real influence. And that's where the backlash is getting louder. Then there's another layer that's got people talking. It looks strategic, very deliberate, but not everyone is convinced it's going to land the way Harry expects. Reports say Chris Shipp from ITV, often seen as being friendly toward Harry, was flown out to Kyiv to cover him up close. That move alone has critics calling it carefully managed media exposure. And right on cue, Harry starts invoking Princess Diana, repeating that line, "I'm not a political figure," just like she once said. That comparison is turning heads fast. Here's what was quoted from his speech, and this part stays exactly as said. "I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a soldier who understands service as a humanitarian, who has seen the human cost of conflict. And as a friend of Ukraine who believes the world must not grow used to this war or numb to its consequences." Strong words, no doubt, but not everyone is buying the message. Critics argue that while Diana was known for humanitarian work, she didn't position herself in the same kind of political spotlight. That contrast is exactly why this moment is sparking so much debate right now. Some critics aren't holding back at all. They're saying straight up, you are nothing like Diana, mate. You are not a humanitarian. You're a hard left political grifter, and even hinting he could be getting paid for appearances like this, which they claim looks seriously questionable. Those are strong accusations, and they're adding even more heat to an already tense situation. So Harry shows up, steps into the spotlight, and kicks off his speech. But the reaction from some corners is disbelief mixed with frustration. There are people openly laughing it off, saying global leaders aren't exactly waiting on his words. Still, others argue this moment carries weight, especially with timing like this. With King Charles set for a major state visit to Washington, D.C. next week, critics say this creates awkward headlines for both the British government and the royal family. That overlap has people talking non-stop. And here's where it gets even more intense. Some believe Harry is trying to position himself as a half-in, half-out royal again, while making statements that could complicate things for his father on the world stage. There's even a claim that by speaking out just days before the visit, he's putting pressure on key relationships, including with the US leadership. Not everyone agrees with that take, though others think this is more about visibility and influence than strategy. Then comes another twist. Writer Tom Sykes from the Royalist Substack weighed in, suggesting there's an 85 to 90% chance the speech criticizing America may have been written with AI. That claim alone has sparked a whole new wave of reactions, with people debating authenticity, intent, and what this all really means behind the scenes. Some people are really going in with this take, saying Harry clearly can't stand being in Montecito. They're claiming he was out of there fast, barely 48 hours, and he's already back on a plane again. That kind of quick exit has critics talking, suggesting he's restless and looking for something more. The chatter doesn't stop there either. There's this narrative floating around that Harry feels stuck, like life in Montecito just isn't giving him the same energy he used to have. People are saying his circle is small, mostly security, Meghan, and time at home with the kids. Now, being present with family is normal, but critics are spinning it like he's bored and missing the fast-paced royal lifestyle he once had. And that's where the comparisons kick in. Back in the UK, he had easy access to friends, events, and that constant attention. In Montecito, it's a totally different vibe, and some believe he's still adjusting or maybe struggling with that shift. That idea alone is fueling a lot of speculation right now. But the real intrigue is all about timing. His Ukraine trip has people watching closely, especially with King Charles heading to the US soon. If this is the kind of move Harry makes before that visit, critics are already wondering what could be coming next. The anticipation is building, and people are bracing for whatever headline drops next. Critics are calling this a diplomatic mess, no sugarcoating it. The Ukraine war is one of the most sensitive topics in global politics right now. And at the same time, King Charles is preparing for a major visit aimed at keeping the relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States strong. That's why some are saying Harry's move feels like tossing a grenade right into the middle of a very delicate situation. There's also a lot of talk about who this really affects. Some voices claim global leaders won't take Harry seriously, but others say the person most likely to feel the impact is the king himself. From that perspective, it's being framed as unnecessary tension at the worst possible moment. Critics even argue Harry knows exactly how disruptive this looks, and that's why it's getting so much attention. At the same time, there's a more personal angle people keep bringing up. No matter the disagreements, that's still father and son, and that dynamic adds another layer to everything. Some describe it as a difficult family situation playing out on a global stage where frustration builds but loyalty still exists. It's that familiar idea people may joke about their own family, but it hits differently when it comes from the outside. Some critics are going all the way with this argument, saying it's time for the titles to be removed. Their reasoning is blunt: if he were just Harry Mountbatten Windsor without the royal label, would anyone pay this much attention to where he shows up? They're convinced the spotlight would fade fast without that title attached. There's also frustration bubbling over about what's happening behind closed doors. People are saying they wish cameras were allowed inside those high-level meetings, especially moments like an Oval Office conversation, because they want to hear what's really being said. At the same time, others admit they understand why the royal family keeps things tightly controlled. Maintaining dignity and privacy still matters in those settings. Still, the pushback toward Harry is getting louder. Some feel he should be challenged more directly for moves like this, especially when he leans on comparisons to Princess Diana. Critics keep pointing out that he's echoing her words, but they don't see the same approach or impact. That contrast is exactly what's fueling the backlash right now. And then there are the more heated claims, with people questioning whether certain public moments cross the line into being staged for attention. Those accusations are strong and controversial, but they show just how divided opinions have become around his actions and how he presents himself on the global stage. Critics are drawing a sharp line here, saying, "No, we saw how she did her humanitarian work. We witnessed it. It's nothing like this." That comparison keeps coming up, and it's hitting hard because people remember exactly how Diana carried herself on the global stage. They're not seeing the same approach, and that gap is fueling even more debate. Some are even throwing out a direct challenge, saying they'd like to see Harry go a full week without mentioning his mother. It's a bold statement, but it reflects a growing feeling that his public identity is still heavily tied to her legacy. While many acknowledge how painful that loss was and how lasting that kind of grief can be, there's also a sense that people want to understand who he is on his own terms. That question keeps popping up. Who is Harry today, beyond the past? Critics argue that the focus often circles back to the same themes, whether it's his mother or his experiences with the press. They claim it creates a narrow narrative that's hard to move beyond, especially in his current life in Montecito. And then there's more criticism around his public image as a whole. Some point to past appearances and moments that they felt didn't land well, while also questioning how decisions are made within his household. Those opinions are strong and not universally shared, but they show just how divided the conversation has become around him and his role in the spotlight. Now, this is where the controversy really spikes. Critics are claiming Harry and Meghan are stepping into risky territory, suggesting they're using not just their own status, but even their children's names in ways that raise serious questions. And it doesn't stop there. People are also pointing to the use of the name Lilibet, the deeply personal nickname of Queen Elizabeth II, which some say she never liked being used publicly in this way. That alone has stirred a lot of strong reactions. The timing is what really has people talking. Some believe certain moves, like product tie-ins or branding moments, are being lined up to grab maximum attention, especially around significant royal milestones. Critics are openly questioning whether the public is expected to overlook those connections, and that skepticism is growing louder. According to reporting from the New York Post and coverage highlighted by Sarah Nathan, Meghan Markle has faced backlash this week over products said to be inspired by her children. The report also claims that both she and Prince Harry have registered the names Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, which has sparked debate about how those titles might be used publicly moving forward. One palace source even called it an outrageous use of their titles, pointing out that Queen Elizabeth II never intended for HRH status to be used for commercial purposes. And here's another layer to it. When Harry and Meghan stepped down as working royals in 2020, they agreed not to use their HRH titles publicly. Now, reports suggest that names tied to Archie and Lilibet have been secured across email accounts and social media handles. That detail is adding even more fuel to the conversation, with people questioning where the line is between private family life and public branding. And now the conversation is shifting again because people are starting to connect all these moves together and they don't like the pattern they're seeing. Critics are saying this isn't just about one speech or one headline. It's about a series of calculated decisions that keep Harry and Meghan right in the spotlight, no matter what else is going on. That perception alone is driving a lot of the backlash. There's also growing debate about credibility. Some voices are questioning whether these constant public moments are helping or hurting their image long term. When every appearance turns into controversy, it makes people wonder if the message is getting lost in the noise. And that's a big issue, especially when they're trying to position themselves as serious global figures. At the same time, others argue this is exactly the strategy: stay visible, stay talked about, and stay relevant no matter what. But even that comes with risks, because the more people feel overwhelmed by the headlines, the quicker public opinion can turn. That tension is building fast, and it's clear the reactions are becoming more divided with every move. And looking ahead, people are watching closely for what comes next. With major royal events, political moments, and media appearances all overlapping, the stakes are only getting higher. Whether this approach pays off or backfires in a big way is the question everyone seems to be asking right now. Now the spotlight is getting even harsher because people are no longer just reacting, they're predicting what comes next. Critics are saying every move feels timed, like it's all part of a bigger play to stay front and center no matter the situation. And that idea is making headlines on its own, because if the public starts expecting drama, every appearance gets picked apart even more. There's also a growing question about trust. Some are asking whether audiences are starting to tune out, especially when the same themes keep popping up again and again. When every message circles back to familiar talking points, it can start to feel repetitive, and that's where critics say the impact begins to fade. That's a serious challenge if the goal is to be taken seriously on the world stage. At the same time, supporters would argue this is about staying consistent and keeping attention on issues they care about. But critics aren't convinced, and they're pointing to the constant overlap between personal branding and public messaging as the real problem. That tension is only getting stronger as more moments like this stack up. And here's the real pressure point. What happens when the attention stops working? That's the question being asked more and more, because staying in the spotlight is one thing, but keeping public support is a completely different game. The next move could shape everything, and people are watching very closely to see how it plays out. Now, here's the other side of the story, because not everyone agrees with the backlash. A source pushed back, insisting that Meghan's approach, especially after parting ways with her production partner at Netflix in March, has actually been very tasteful when it comes to the children, and that she has Harry's full support. They say the candle line is part of a Mother's Day collection designed to celebrate family in a personal, meaningful way. The argument is simple. Meghan is a mom, and her brand focuses on hosting, entertaining, and family life. Supporters point out she doesn't parade the children in public, doesn't show their faces, and keeps that boundary firmly in place. From that perspective, they say the criticism goes too far and ignores the effort to maintain privacy. But critics aren't backing down. They're pointing to reports about the couple's financial pressures, including a claimed $3 million annual security cost, and saying this is exactly why these kinds of projects are happening. When that Mother's Day email dropped promoting the collection, it immediately got people talking again. And here's where it gets heated. Some are arguing that by tying products to names and legacy, it crosses into monetizing royal history, including connections to the late Queen. Others say they have every right to manage their own brand and their children's names. That divide is only getting louder, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. If you've made it this far, you already know this story isn't going away. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share this with someone who's following the drama, and subscribe for more updates as this keeps unfolding.